In a season of ups and downs, the Yankees will play game 162, knowing that a win puts them in the wild card game, while a loss means at least one of any number of tie-breaking scenarios. The Yankees will pin their hopes on the right arm of Jameson Taillon, who is pitching through an ankle injury. The pressure is on. The playoffs are in sight. Will they rise to the occasion, or will they fold under the pressure and put themselves into an even tougher position? Season recap, game recap, your reactions next. This is Yankees Game Night. You guys remember when Jay Bruce was the Yankees' first baseman for like 5.5 minutes this year, and then he retired? Pepperidge Farms remembers. It's been a crazy season. Nobody could deny that. It began with an extra innings loss on opening day to the Blue Jays and had many low points and high points, from the 5-11 start to the 3 triple plays to Jordan Montgomery outdueling Carlos Rodon on a Friday night in the Bronx. There was the near sweep of the Astros on May 4th through 6th, in which the Yankees soundly won the first 2 games before getting beaten in the 3rd game by Jose Altuve. We had the no-hitter from Corey Kluber in Texas, and then we lost him the next start. And you can argue that the Corey Kluber who walked off the field in Texas that day has yet to return. There was the tough series in Philadelphia that lit up the phone lines of the Michael Kay show and led to rants from me and other content creators calling for the Yankees to kick Boone and maybe even Cashman to the curb. Giancarlo Stanton couldn't run to first base for the first 2 months of the season. The Yankees were striking out at incredible rates and hitting into double plays and making base running errors. Everybody was using spider tack, and the Yankees' offense was just dead in the water when the calendar switched over from spring to summer. Although you can argue it's gotten better, it still has its tough nights. On June 30th, the Yankees scored 7 runs in the first inning on a night that Shohei Ohtani was pitching against them, and they ended up allowing 7 runs in the top of the 9th to lose the game. We had the incredible shutout from Garrett Cole just before the All-Star break, and seemed to be on the verge of sweeping the Astros in their building, only to have our hearts ripped out when the Astros scored 6 runs in the bottom of the 9th to walk it off. The Yankees introduced a plethora of new faces this summer: Rougned Odor, Tim LaCastro, Trey Amburgey, Ryan Lamar, Jonathan Davis, Hoy Park, Chris Gittens, Joely Rodriguez, Clay Holmes. They said goodbye to Mike Tauchman and Mike Ford and Luis Cessa and Justin Wilson. They lost a number of impact players to injuries for the season: Aaron Hicks, Darren O'Day, Miguel Andujar, Clint Frazier, Zach Britton. They got a glimpse of the future with Luis Heel and Steven Ridings. At the trade deadline, they go out and they add Anthony Rizzo and Joey Gallo to fix some of the overly right-handed issues that the Yankees had. And they started playing better. They started playing Giancarlo Stanton in the field. The team started to score more runs. Stanton and Judge have become who we expected them to be all along. They've dominated the final 2 months, with both of them eclipsing 35 home runs and having a chance at 100 RBIs. Stanton has, in particular, really stepped up his play with a number of huge home runs. He's even looked good on defense. He had those 4 straight games with a home run against the Red Sox and the Jays in September. Aaron Judge is having his best season since 2017, leaving it all on the field and proving that when he's healthy, he's still one of the best players in all of baseball. You could argue that they really begun to turn it around with the Field of Dreams game, in which the Yankees lost, but really showed some fight late in the game. The very next game was the beginning of a 13-game win streak that cut through 5 different teams, and though it may have been fool's gold, the Yankees for a time looked like one of the best teams in baseball. They, of course, followed the win streak up with 4 straight losses, and losses in 11 of their next 13 games. That was the point in the season in which I felt most confused, most perplexed, most distraught, In my 30 years of watching nearly every single Yankees game, I've maybe missed a half dozen of them. I've never seen a team with such hot streaks and such cold streaks. We had the triumphant return of Luis Severino, who's been one of the best weapons in baseball out of the bullpen at a time when the Yankees needed it the most. We saw Jonathan Loaisiga step up to that next level and become the pitcher that we all thought he could be when we first witnessed his incredible stuff when he made his major league debut. Jordan Montgomery has pitched to solid numbers this year. Despite having a tough finish in Game 161, he outperformed most people's expectations this season. Mike King and Clay Holmes have both stepped up and done a really nice job out of the bullpen despite the hiccup in Game 161 from Mike King. Nestor Cortez has proven himself to be a future piece of this rotation. If he can go a little bit deeper into games, he could be a real problem next year. Aaron Boone has given himself a chance to remain the manager of the Yankees, despite a number of questionable decisions throughout the year, giving up a bit too early in a number of games this season. A lot of fans want him gone, but if he has postseason success, which is a big if at this point, he might be back next season. Brian Cashman will almost certainly be back, win or lose. He's good friends with Hal Steinbrenner, the Yankees' principal owner, but it might be time for a new organizational philosophy. Perhaps he can bring in some consultants from other teams, maybe a few scouts, and maybe stop dumpster diving. You're the Yankees. People are going to hate you whether or not you spend, so why not spend? The Yankees are going to the wild card game. I know it's not what we all wanted. We wanted a division title, but the team simply didn't play well enough, and they have only themselves to blame. But they can erase all of that by winning the wild card game and having a nice run in the playoffs. Will they get it done? We'll see. Oh yeah, Yankees win this one. Woo! That was a heart attack. Oh my goodness. 1-0 victory. One of the best and tightest games of the year for the Yankees. Final game ever in the booth for Ken Singleton, one of my favorite color guys of all time. Let's hear it for Ken Singleton. Outstanding job. He actually got a roll call from the Bleacher Creatures. Really classy move by those guys. If you were there and you were part of that roll call, tip of the hat to you. DJ LeMahieu placed on the IL before the game, so he was unavailable today. And I mean, look, he's been a team leader for the last few years, but he hasn't been himself. He's just been, as they said, too compromised by injuries. So it was probably the right move to put him on the IL. That means he's probably not going to be available for the wild card game, and I doubt we'll see him before the ALDS. Jameson Taillon pitching with a bum ankle today. He was outstanding. He worked a scoreless first inning around a Wander Franco single. Weird to see the Rays not score today. I mean, I didn't think it was possible after yesterday. The Yankees also went quietly in the first, and for many innings after that, Judge bounced into a double play, 118 miles an hour off the bat, but right at the shortstop, so just bad luck. Yankees get a 1-2-3 inning in the second inning. JMO looked good. Yankees also go quietly in the second. Rays get a one-out walk and a bloop single in the top of the third. Kevin Kiermaier hustling down the line even after a walk, takes third base on a fly ball. I mean, that's the difference between the Yankees and the Rays. Just the good old-fashioned want to borrow a football term. Taillon ended up working out of it. Yankees went down without a fight in the third, hitless in their first turn through the order. Taillon ends up going 3 1/3 scoreless innings before Wandy Peralta came in. He immediately allowed a double and a walk, but got out of it with a little help from a great play by Gleyber Torres over there at second base. He's looked pretty good over there at second. Torres followed that up with the Yankees' first hit of the day. And then top sixth, pop foul in the third base side, and Gio Urshela was kind of, he was like sprinting towards the dugout. And there's like this opening, and you'll see it here. He just went flying right into the dugout. I thought he was dead. I mean, the way everybody was calling people over, I mean, he went flying in the dugout, ended up being okay, limped off the field under his own power, made the catch to get out of the inning. Absolute warrior. So we got to give a round of applause for Mr. Gio. Chad Green comes in for the 7th inning, serves up a double to G-Man Choi, former Yankee. He gets 2 men out and then allows a walk. Loaizaga comes in to face Brandon Lau. Loaizaga gets him to pop up to get out of it. Top of the 8th, Randy Arozarena picked up an infield single and a stolen base. He took 3rd on a fly out to left field. Kind of caught Joey Gallo on his back foot. It was tough play. He had to retreat, but it was an all-arm throw, and it was a pretty good throw, but he, was not able to get the runner. Doesn't matter. Yankees work out of it. Loaizaga ended up striking out Nelson Cruz for out number 2 in the 8th. Loaizaga was just absolutely pumped, got Meadows to pop out to right field. Yankees go quietly in the bottom of the 8th, and then they turn it over to Aroldis Chapman. Chapman worked a really good 9th inning. Odor leads off the bottom of the 9th with a bloop single. Tyler Wade pinch runs. Wade takes second base on a fly out to the warning track from Torres, who continues to improve daily. Just a good at bat. Got to get that runner over any way you can, and a long fly ball to the deepest part of the ballpark will do it. Almost hit the ball out of the ballpark. Rizzo singles to right field and ends up taking second base on the throw. And it sounded like they were going to walk Aaron Judge because Judge was on deck, and then you got Giancarlo up behind him. But Giancarlo's been so hot that protection that he's giving Judge, it forces them to pitch to Judge. And Judge lines one right back up the middle, off the pitcher. Run scores, Tyler Wade hustles in, and with that, the Yankees are headed to the playoffs.
Ball game over. Yankees win. The Yankees win.
And it is time to break out the final belt winner of the regular season. Belt winner, Mr. Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge wins the belt one more time. He's been so clutch over the last couple of months. There was all that talk early on in the season, whether or not Judge was clutch. There was a lot of debate. He wasn't coming up big in big spots early on this year, but ultimately he comes up in a humongous spot today and picks up the walk-off hit. I saw we had a dono. I missed it because it was during my recap from Board Rican Veteran. I'm not going to be able to find it, so I'm just going to give him the dono hype. Tim Burns with the Bronxy Turtles. Yeah, I thought maybe they would turn Bronxy to soup after yesterday's game. But, hey, look, anything will help. I just don't want anybody missing a wild card game because they got a disease from a turtle. So let's be careful handling that little son of a bitch over the next couple of days. Baseball is Life says, what happens if Boston wins is the wild card at Fenway. So let's go for a update on the Boston game. It is 5-5 in the top of the 9th. Boston batting, nobody out, runner on first. Schwarber just reached on an error by Jordy Mercer. If the Red Sox win that game, they have the tiebreaker against the Yankees, and so they will host the game at Fenway. And honestly, I don't think that's that big a deal. The Yankees just went to Fenway and played pretty well. They beat Nathan Eovaldi at Fenway. Giancarlo Stanton was going off at Fenway. You know that, and it's been a few days since he's hit a home run. So you know that I don't know if you believe in due, but he might be due. And going back into Fenway, feeling good, pressure is off, you're in the playoffs. I mean, I'm sure there'll be pressure. It's a one-game playoff, but, I got to think he's going to be confident. Aaron Judge got to be feeling good after today's win. Gleyber Torres feeling good. Lori C says Nats are going to walk it off. If that happens, in the event that the Nationals walk it off, the Yankees will host the wild card game, and that will be fantastic. Chris Sale pitched today, so I think we're going to see Nathan Eovaldi on Tuesday night. Let's see. B says, got to give kudos to Rougned Odor getting to first. So Rougned Odor picked up a big hit. That was a humongous hit from Rougned Odor. Paul Johnson with the Super Chat says, postseason hype! Let's see. Sprinting Water says, for some reason we rake at Fenway. And I'll tell you why. It's because the Yankees are overwhelmingly right-handed, right? That's a park that's built for right-handed hitters, just like Yankee Stadium is built for left-handed hitters. When the Yankees are loaded up with lefties, they tend to rake at Yankee Stadium. That's kind of how that works. Baseball is Life says the way this game ended today should carry over to the postseason. We'll see. The Yankees did get a little bit of the monkey off their back, I think, by winning this game. You didn't want to lose 3 in a row to the Rays. I mean, and if you have to face the Rays in the first round, you don't want their last memory of coming to Yankee Stadium to be winning 3 straight and sweeping the Yankees. You just don't want that to happen. So winning this game was huge. Not only gets you in the postseason, but it shows the Rays that you'll fight, that you don't give up. And the Yankees, look, they were scrappy today. They didn't score, and so they needed every ounce of effort that they got out of the bullpen. Just an unfrickin' believable performance by the bullpen. Let's see here. Aiden Clark says, honestly, I'd rather play at Fenway. I hear you. The Yankees have been playing pretty well at Fenway recently. And Nathan Eovaldi, I mean, he's a guy who, he can be scary from time to time. He's shut the Yankees down a few times. But I have a feeling that the Yankees are going to get to him because they just saw him and they just hit him. Ruben Cruz says, it's fitting Judge gets the game-winning RBI. He's been carrying us all year. Stanton has helped a lot in the second half. Appreciate that, Mr. Cruz. Cruise control. Kyle Owa with the great call by John Sterling. Ball game over. Regular season over. The Yankees win.
Over. Yankees win. The Yankees win.
Wyland says they poured champagne on Bronxy. I hope that's not true. I would hate if they kill this turtle. Look, this turtle already is in way too small of a tank. Those things are messy. They really deserve a bigger tank. But, I mean, I've had a couple of turtles, and I had them in an outdoor fish pond, and they died. But let's hope they're not really actually pouring champagne on Bronxy. Let's see here. Darth Wacko says, the bullpen was excellent.
I wholeheartedly agree.
Blue Jays just won. So I'm not sure how that factors in. If the Red Sox lose, do the Yankees play the Blue Jays? Is that how that works? I haven't really stayed up because there was like 16 different scenarios that were possible. Board says, Odor, get Odor hot again. Appreciate that. Got to find your Super Dono sound. Puerto Rico. Oh. Scott Graham says, say a prayer for Sanchez. Lately his hitting is cold as ice. Yeah, he looks bad, but he just missed a home run. He hit one foul. He just got around it a little bit. He ripped it into the second deck, I believe. It was smoked. Sanchez also not a great day behind the plate. And luckily, none of the mistakes really killed us. There was a dribbler by Randy Arozarena. Ended up being a base hit, but he pounced out from home plate and tried to make the throw before he got the ball. Basic fundamentals when you're teaching kids is you get to the ball, you push down on the ball. You push the ball into the grass. You don't want the ball slipping out of your fingertips, or you don't want to miss the ball. So you get yourself centered over the ball as quickly as you can, and you apply pressure downward on the ball. That gets the ball seated in your hand, and then you make a throw to first base. He clearly did not do that. Now, he did have a fast runner, but that's no excuse. He's a Major League Baseball player. His form has got to be better. There was also a runner on third, and there was a pitch in the dirt, and he backhanded it. Now, he made the play. So you can't eat his lunch too much. But we mentioned this back in spring training. When there's a man on third, you cannot be backhanding balls in the dirt. You have got to collapse. You have got to collapse and use your gear. You're wearing all that shit for a reason. Use your gear to block the ball and position your body to steer the ball back towards home plate. That's what a good catcher does. That's what Gary Sanchez does not do. And that's what people who just look at Gary Sanchez's, offensive runs produced compared to other catchers and say, Gary Sanchez is the man. Gary Sanchez is great. There's one really annoying Twitter account that always posts Gary Sanchez shit. And I just feel like saying, hey, look, do you watch catching? Have you ever played baseball? Have you ever experienced good catching? You look at a catcher, and Gary Sanchez is not it. I just hope that he can get through this postseason without killing us. That's what it is. Martin Kalunga says, Cole definitely winning the wild card game. I hope you're right. Your lips to God's ears. Boston just went up 2 runs, a 2-run home run from Rafael Devers to center field. Man, that guy's clutch. I believe that's his second home run of the game. He is 4 for 5 with 4 ribbies. He's got 38 home runs on the season, hitting .279. He is just 24 years old, 111 RBIs. You don't want to get him hot going into a game at Fenway. He actually hit a home run off of Garrett Cole the last time they were at Fenway. Mark Stanaroo says, wildcard game is Tuesday, not tomorrow. We're going to Fenway. Yeah, wildcard game is Tuesday night. It should be 7 or 8 o'clock, but that'll be fun. Let's see. JNK says, I hope they didn't do anything to Bronxy in the hype. I really hope so, too. That would be a shame. Mario Malero says, Boone's 2003 ALCS walk-off home run. Luck ran out. Please fire him. You just won. Can we give everybody a break? Let's refrain from trading people and firing people today. Let's wait until after the Yankees make an exit, which I don't know when that's going to be, but at that point we can start to eat people's lunch. Yankee says, Blue Jays fans just got their heart broken. Yeah, unfortunately, sucks for them. B says, sorry, who doesn't hate Devers? I don't hate Devers. I think Devers is fantastic. I don't hate anyone because they're a baseball player, especially a player on another team. It's a bad reason to hate somebody. I don't like it when the Yankees get beat by Devers, but look, he's a great player. He's fun to watch. He's got a ton of energy. He's good for the game. You know, it sucks that he's on the Red Sox. If he was on the Yankees, I promise you would love him. A lot of people saying Boone must go. Yankees won! They won the game! And you're not wrong. I don't think Boone is the right man for this team. He did not manage yesterday's game well. He threw up the white flag a lot of times this year. But let's at least get behind him for the playoffs. You know, we've got a wild card game and then maybe an ALDS run, you know, against these Rays. If we can somehow figure out a way to beat the Rays, not going to be easy, and I'm not liking our chances, but it can happen if the Yankees play up to their potential. Then, you know, Boone will probably have earned himself another year because you'll be in the American League Championship. But, I mean, to be fair, the Yankees got rid of Joe Girardi after the American League Championship. Yankees finished the season with 92 wins, 92-70. Worth noting, that is the same record they had in 1996 when they won the first of their 4 championships in 5 years. So let's hear it for the Yankees, finishing off the win. Ramon Vlog says, get everyone ready. King, Severino, who was warming, by the way, in the late innings. Clay Holmes, who was great today. Aroldis Chapman, Chad Green, Johnny Lasagna, Domingo Herman, and Nasty Nestor. It's going to be Johnny Holstaff. I mean, Garrett Cole is your ace. He's your horse. If he's on, then you don't have to worry about all those other guys. You can give them an extra day of rest. But you got to have some guys ready in case he's not. Let's not forget, he's not been good the last couple of starts because he's been pitching with a bad hamstring. He almost had to go on the IL. If this was April, he'd probably still be on the IL. That's just how it goes. Brad Jewis says, we are going to ride the Cole train. Let's see here. Andrew Thomason says, can we trade for Bogarts? Would love to see him in pinstripes. I don't see any reason that the Red Sox would make that deal. They wouldn't help out their chief rival. It's very rare that the Yankees and Red Sox make trades. It has happened generally when one of the teams is out of it and the other is not. But it's rare that like a big stud type player gets traded from either the Yankees to the Red Sox or from the Red Sox to the Yankees. Kerry Min says Sanchez is garbage. Look, the Sanchez hate is not without merit. And I use the hate just as like a generic word for people not liking. I don't think anybody actually hates the human being that is Gary Sanchez, although it's certainly possible. But look, if he has a big wild card game, hits 2 balls over the monster, he used to rake at Fenway, by the way. If he has a big wild card game, that changes everything for the Yankees. People are going to love him. People are going to love him. King Lou says, get behind Boone with a kick in the ass. 100% agree.
I wholeheartedly agree.
And Dono Hype. Appreciate that. We got another super chat here. I'm trying to get through. We got a lot of people in the chats here. Let's get some donos going. Yanks in the playoffs. Appreciate that. And you've been such a supporter. You get my favorite one. Carlos Baladera says he hates Altuve and Carlos Correa. You know what? I will make an exception to my hating other human beings rule for Altuve. I don't hate Carlos Correa. I don't like when Correa kills the Yankees, but Altuve, I think he's a lying little rat piece of shit. That's what I think about Altuve. Stone Cold says Sanchez has lost confidence. You can tell. Behind the plate, it looks like there's a term in sports called paralysis by analysis. It's when you keep fixing something until it's broke. And now Sanchez was not a great catcher from the time he came up. He was an average catcher. He always had a great arm. But the Yankees have made so many tweaks to him. The way he sits on one knee, the way he frames and stuff, that he's just become kind of nebulous back there. And I just don't think he's comfortable. I don't think he's comfortable. However, I do think at times he can get as hot as anybody. Maybe not as hot as anybody. Stanton gets hotter, Judge gets hotter, but he can have those 3 or 4 game hot streaks where he hits 4 or 5 home runs. And if you run into one of those in the playoffs, he can really carry you. Jeffrey Elwood says that Aaron Boone managed a perfect game. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and agree with you.
I wholeheartedly agree.
I thought he did fantastic. I thought it was, I thought he made all the right moves. He didn't stick with anybody too long. He basically, it's the second that someone got into any kind of trouble, he went to the pen. And that's what you have to do in a do-or-die game. And this wasn't a do-or-die game. You had tomorrow if you lose, but you really didn't want to play that game tomorrow. Board Rican Veteran says maybe Sanchez at first base next year. Interesting. He has played first base in the past, usually like late in the game he'll come in. But the thing about Sanchez, and the thing about first base is not as easy as it looks. The thing about Sanchez is he's not super mobile, you know? I like first basemen that have really good footwork, that are really fleet of foot. I don't think that they'll be able to get Freddie Freeman, who's probably the best free agent first baseman available. I think he's going to end up re-signing with the Braves. I mean, you just can't picture Freddie Freeman playing anywhere else. Rizzo's done a nice job, but he might be asking for a lot of money. I don't know that any teams are going to be in position to pay a lot of money for a first baseman. So it'll just be it'll be interesting to see which way the Yankees go. They do have Luke Voit. I think Luke Voit is probably gone. I think Luke Voit's probably going to get traded. Somebody said it was a really bad take that he could be non-tendered. I don't think that's going to happen, but it's certainly a possibility if the Yankees can't get anything for him. I don't think he's going to enter the team or enter the season on the Yankees team next year. And if that means, you know, non-tendering him, that's possible. I think that Matt Olson with the Oakland Athletics is probably the best possibility. Bottom of the ninth now in Washington, 7-5, Boston leads. Warren France says, for 1 hit in 8 innings against a pitcher with a 5+ ERA, but no mention. Cannot be remotely happy about this game despite winning. I disagree. I am remotely happy. I'm very happy because the only thing that matters is the score.
Ball game over. Yankees win. The Yankees win.
Appreciate the dono. It was not a great... I tweeted this halfway through the game. The offense looked tight. They just looked tight out there, whereas the pitching looked loose. And I think that comes down to coaching. I think Matt Blake had his pitchers ready to go. I think Marcus Timms probably had the guys trying to do a little bit too much. It is what it is. Let's see here. Tony Mateo says, Luke coming to Colorado. I think Luke Voit would be absolutely outstanding in Colorado. And there is a collective bargaining agreement that's supposed to happen this winter. It sounds as if the universal DH is headed to baseball. If you put Luke Voit as the DH in Colorado, he hits 40 or 50 home runs. All right, guys, I've got a final outro for the 2021 season. I appreciate all the love this season. This has been a ton of fun. If the Yankees get by the wild card game, we're going to do some watch parties in the ALDS. I'm going to stick with the recap format for the wild card game. I might hop on and do like a couple of innings. We'll see how I feel. But right now the plan is to do recap for the wild card game with an episode of the Freeze in the morning on Tuesday. And then on Wednesday, we'll have some top fives come out. And then when the ALDS starts happening, we'll do some watch parties. But I appreciate all the love. Go Yanks one more time. Mr. John Sterling for your wild card champs.
Ball game over. Yankees win. The Yankees win.
Well, not technically the wild card champs yet, but the first team to clinch a wild card. We'll see how it works out. I'll see you guys next time.